Why is it sometimes that we experience some things? We have taken so wrong decisions. In provoking situations, we have lost our anger. In provoking situations, we have lost our frustration. We lose our sanity. Why does it happen to us? All of us have taken some wrong decisions in life and we have regretted a lot, right? But have we ever questioned ourselves, why does it happen to us? Well, Srimad Bhagavad Gita answers this question. Bhagavad Gita says there is a craving monster inside all of us. And this craving monster is so powerful that it makes you do things which you never want to do. And this craving monster, people, Bhagavad Gita refers to as our mind. Oh, you might wonder, is my mind a monster? Oh, it has had science and intellectuality to such a great extent. It has caused development and prosperity in all fields. The mind is so powerful. But the problem is, people, we never realize that we have habituated our mind to take up wrong decisions at the wrong time. For instance, when we are angry, we are always wanting to hit someone. We are frustrated and we always want to yell and shout at others. Why is it happening like this? It is happening because we have habituated, we have conditioned our mind to do like this. In the course of our lives, we have taken such decisions that our mind has conditioned reflexes to act in that way. So this is the problem, that mind has become a monster, but is it really meant to be a monster? No, people, never. Mind is our best friend. Krishna says, mind is the greatest friend of a person and can do great wonders. So what to do? How to take this mind under our control? That's the problem. Well, Bhagavad Gita answers to this question as Vega Sahishvata, tolerating our certain urges in very provoking situations. Because when we give in to these urges, that's the moment we'll end up in great troubles. Great troubles means great troubles. It may lead to divorce, it may lead to breakups. Relationships fail because we are unable to control these urges. So what are these urges? Well, Bhagavad Gita lists them down as 5 basic urges from which other urges arise. So let's get them down. The first urge is to compare. People, stop comparing to others. Comparison has never been good for us. If we compare to our superiors, we sometimes lack in confidence. If we compare to our inferiors, we develop ego. And we compare to our equals, we can never progress. That's why stop comparing to others. Instead, go for self-introspection. Reflect on your own values and skill set. Think, oh, how can I quit this habit of smoking? Oh, how can I progress on myself? Think. This mind has got great powers, and so do your willpower. The second urge Bhagavad Gita talks about is to compete. This world is full of the spirit of competition. I mean, you need competition in every aspect of life. And that is going to remain for sure. In fact, we are born while competing with others, right? But when the spirit of competition does not come out of our urge to learn, to grow, to outlimit our own self, but instead when it comes from our urge to prove something to the world, oh, I want to achieve this, oh, I want to show the world how nice I am, that is when you fail at the spirit of competition. The great example that is given by great commentators is of Arjuna and Karna. As we all know, they are 2 great warriors of Mahabharata. Both excelled at the field of archery. Both were great warriors. In fact, it is said Karna was much more stronger than Arjuna. But at last, who emerged victorious? It was Arjuna, right? Why? Because Arjuna always practiced with one intention. I want to improve. I want to improve. While Karna always had that intention. I want to prove. I want to prove. So forget this proving aspect and just learn on growing on yourself. The third urge Bhagavad Gita talks about is our urge to control and convince. They both are quite relatable urges to our daily life. Why? Because we all have this tendency to lord over others, other people, others' decisions. And how do we do that? Do it by trying to convince them. But we have to be alert in our mind that we are only sharing our opinions. We are only expressing ourselves. We are not there to force our opinions on others. Because if we do that, not only will they regret, but so will we do. The next urge Bhagavad Gita talks about is to consume. Now, the COVID pandemic recently taught us this very important message. The principle for our lives, the principle for our relationships. Stop consuming resources and people. Just stop it. Why? Because it always leads to mutual hatred. Because when one gets more, one accumulates more by exploiting others, that's when the other person gets less. And that leads to hatred. That's a step coming down in humanity. That's the complete opposite of humility and tolerance. How can we expect humanity without humility and tolerance? It's impossible. So we have to learn to control these urges of ours. Because if we forget to do that, then we'll end up in great problems, as I had earlier also mentioned. So what is the solution? I mean, how do I get control over this mind? How do I do that? Have I gone insane that the mind is not under my control? Well, we do it by the process of separation and harmonization. The modern science also believes the same. Let me tell you by one example. For instance, we are angry and we want to hit someone. Oh, I want to just kick him. Then go a step ahead. I think I want to kick him. Go a step ahead. I notice this mind wants me to kick him. Am I a servant of this mind? Or is he my friend? Because when you think like this, you're alert. You're conscious of your surroundings, of your circumstance. Because the circumstance is never under your control. Struggle is automatic. But peace and happiness is a choice. Anger and greed are automatic. But joy and happiness is a choice. Thus work on your choices because the circumstance can never ever be under your control. So learn to tolerate these urges. Srimad Bhagavad Gita teaches us the same message. How to elevate our consciousness above these urges of mind. Through the practice of self-discipline and self-control. As it is already mentioned, a camera, one of the most important parts of a camera is its SD card. Why? Because it has the backup of the entire camera. If some damage or some shock happens to the camera, you always have the SD card. But imagine what happens if that SD card also has a virus. What if even the SD card is corrupted? The same goes on with ourselves. This people is the glossy camera and the SD card is in here. If this gets corrupted, if it has the virus of addictions, it has the virus of intolerance, then what happens is we'll end up in problems. We'll end up to unhealthy relationships, bitter relationships within a father and his son, between friends, between life partners. Is this what we want? No, right? Freedom is not satisfying these urges. Freedom is getting control over them, tolerating them to our best levels. This is what we call as real success, a real freedom. And we have to learn to do this. Why? Because on the basis of how we manage ourselves, we begin to manage others. If we are able to maintain the ecology within, then we will be able to maintain the ecology outside. Thank you.